there are big existential problems like, saving American democracy at home and also abroad. And then there are the on-the-ground problems that Americans struggle with every single day. Inflation is one of them. It's at a 40-year high. Gas prices are surging. COVID numbers are still rising. Yes, we are still in a pandemic. And a school shooting massacre that reminds Americans every single day of President Biden's inability to get Congress to pass gun safety reform. In an exclusive NBC News report, sources say that lately, President Biden feels like he just can't catch a break. And that anxiety is rippling through the Democratic Party in an election year when Democrats are fighting to control the Congress after the midterms. Yamiche Alcindor is here to help us understand the politics and the White House response. She's a Washington correspondent for NBC News and the anchor of Washington Week on PBS. So, Yamiche, a recent poll found that 71% of Americans disapprove of how the president is handling the cost of living. So lay out for us how much of a threat these really bread and butter everyday issues are for the Democrats heading into the midterm elections.
These are incredible threats to the Democrats. These are incredible challenges for President Biden. Everyone who knows anyone in this country right now understands that when people are thinking about sort of their mood in the country, they're thinking about how are they surviving and thriving. And right now, with inflation very high, with gas prices on neon signs every day reminding people just how high gas prices have gotten, you really do get the sense that there are so many Americans who are wondering, how can this economy work better for me? And when I talk to White House officials, they're very, very aware that at the end of the day, the buck is going to stop with the president. The president has said over and over again that he is going to tackle this issue. But historically, presidents haven't been able to really do that much about inflation, going all the way back to LBJ or Nixon or Ford. President after president has tried to deal with inflation, and it has not really worked out. But now you hear Democrats, especially in this new article that you just pointed out, you have Representative Murphy of Florida saying that really she has not heard a clear, succinct plan from the White House about how to tackle inflation. And again, that's a Democrat saying that. So that tells you where the Democratic Party is and also the challenges ahead as the midterms near.
One of the fascinating things about this moment, as in terms of issues like inflation or gas prices, that there's not that much the president can do about these issues, right? They can persist even if the president takes action, right? I'm talking specifically about gas prices. Like President Trump always loved to tout the economy, the stock market, and gas prices as if he contributed to those things. So speak to how much of this is a messaging piece in terms of the administration talking about what they are doing to tackle these issues, and how much of it is a problem of the fact that they can't actually do all that much to solve the problems in the immediate future.
I say it's the two-pronged issue that you just laid out there, Serlina. It is both an issue of messaging in that Americans want to feel like President Biden and Democrats in particular, that they have a handle on the economy. And there is some frustration in the Democratic Party, people that I've talked to, Democratic leaders and lawmakers who are going on the record with NBC News saying, we need to hear a better plan from President Biden. We need to hear a better plan from Democrats. The other issue, though, is that there are some action items. When you think about the gas prices, of course, you had the president release millions of barrels of oil from the reserves. But there's also some reporting here that President Biden himself was frustrated when it came to the baby formula shortage. He was, in some ways, really complaining that he didn't get briefed about that early enough. And this was a problem that was basically in the making for months. So there is also some issues here when it comes to mothers, frankly, being angry and fathers being angry that when they go to the stores, the shelves where baby formula is supposed to be was empty. And that, in some ways, by President Biden and Democrats' own admission, is a little bit on their shoulders.
That's a very fair point. So let's talk about the staffing here, because NBC News is reporting that President Biden, as you said, is pressing aides for a more compelling message, a sharper strategy, complained that he wasn't informed sooner about the baby formula shortage. I mean, is he right? Lay out what all of this means in terms of some of the staff shakeups we've been reading about over the past couple of days, where some senior members are leaving the administration and some new people are going to come in.
So White Houses always have turnover. And Zerlina, we remember the sort of whiplash of turnover that we saw in the Trump years. It's not quite like that, but you do see a lot of high profile people leaving this administration. You see a lot of people also talking about leaving. There's some reporting that Ron Klain, the chief of staff, might be leaving. There has never been a woman or a person of color in that job, and that might be the next thing. There are some names being flipped around, like Anita Dunn, who is working at the White House right now in the high level communications and strategy position. There's also Susan Rice, who is a senior advisor. So there are some people that are in the administration who are also very, very close to President Biden. Steve Ricchetti is another one. But the other thing that's happening here is that President Biden, and you can see it in real time, President Biden often says one thing, and then you see his aides sort of trying to clean it up. You think about the fact that he said in 9 words, President Putin needs to leave office, and aides really trying and working overtime to say, well, that's not really what he meant. Same thing with Taiwan. The president comes out and says, you know what, we would defend Taiwan if China tried to invade it like Ukraine got invaded by Russia. Then you see aides coming out. That is frustrating just to watch, because you know that the White House is in some ways really trying to be on the same page. But it's also frustrating for President Biden because his bread and butter has been that sort of tough talking, straight talking style that he has. And you have a White House that is trying to in some ways insulate him from being called, off record or being called off policy by the official U.S. policy. But you also have someone who's saying, I'm leading with my heart, and what I say is what I mean. So the staffing issue is one to really, really watch here, because you can see just outside how the messaging is going, that there is a real tension between what President Biden wants to say, how clear he wants to be, and then his aides really trying to stick to a different kind of message.
It's fascinating. President Biden was like, I said what I said. It's just it's fascinating developments. Yamiche Alcindor, thank you for that great reporting and for being here today. Please stay safe. Hi, I'm Zerlina Maxwell. Thanks for checking out our channel on YouTube. You can see more from Zerlina by clicking any of the videos on this screen, and make sure you subscribe below to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. Thanks for watching.